is it a problem for the State Department that there are these reports that they did not follow through on that part of the MOU in terms of disclosing the annual disclosure of the donors?
We're back now to where we were on Friday,
Right.
and again, we would say
I don't
that
know. Maybe there isn't. Maybe it's not a problem for the State Department. I just want to know.
we
Yes
welcome
or no,
welcome the new commitments from the Clinton Foundation to disclose the donors, and from the Clinton Health Access Initiative to review their past tax filing, and we welcome the additional efforts to ensure that all those donations are public. So I don't have any problem to outline.
Okay, so the department is not going to go back to the foundation and say, "Hey, you didn't comply with this. Why not?"
Well, they've said they're going to put out that information,
and
so
you welcome it, but
yes.
There isn't any kind of consequence or any kind of concern from this building about what happened back.
They're going through and doing that. We'll let them do that.
Jeff, what is the utility of an agreement or a memorandum of understanding, a commitment, if it is not adhered to?
I'll let you continue. What is
the usefulness of a memorandum of understanding designed to avoid conflicts of interest or the appearance of conflicts of interest if it is not adhered to?
Well, again, these were transparency measures that were undertaken, as we've talked about before. These undertakings went well beyond, in some respects, what would have been required, and so we welcome those. Again, we are not aware of any evidence of influence, undue influence, on decision making.
But what is the usefulness of an undertaking that is not, of a promise that is not kept? I mean, if they promised that they would disclose.
Well, Arshad, as I've described, there were dozens each year, dozens of.
Let's not mix oranges and apples. What you're doing now is what you did before, where I think you're talking about President Clinton's speech honoraria, right?
No, as well as foreign government donations to the Clinton Foundation and the Clinton Health Access Initiative. So these aren't apples and oranges.
Okay, well, I'm talking about the failure of the Clinton Health Access Initiative to disclose on an annual basis from 2010 all new donors. They didn't do it. They said they would do it. They publicly acknowledged that they didn't do it. And they publicly acknowledged that they were bound by the terms of the Memorandum of Understanding. So what is the usefulness of having a Memorandum of Understanding that is designed to promote transparency if the people who make the commitment to be transparent fail to do so?
Well, again, I think you're trying to draw what I'm trying to point out is that the MOU contained two different commitments, one of which had reviews by the State Department of the government donations, and we received dozens of such requests for review, and we reviewed every case that was submitted to us. So I don't think that justifies the conclusion you seem to be trying to get at, which is that the MOU wasn't implemented.
I'm not drawing a conclusion. I'm asking a question. Mm-hmm. And as you're aware, there are two instances in which the MOU was not adhered to with regard to foreign donations, correct?
Right, which has subsequently been...
but yes. Not real time, not as it was promised to be done under the MOU. So the question is, if somebody says, I'm going to be transparent, and then they fail to be transparent, does that not call into question the utility of the agreement in the first place?
Well, again, I think the Foundation is making efforts now to provide that information that wasn't provided, and I go back to what I said at the start. We're not aware of any evidence of undue evidence, influence stemming from those. So
let's forget about the whole.
Go ahead.
For the time, let's set aside whether or not there's evidence. Or you're saying that there is no evidence. And I think I got the answer to this question before. You're saying that the fact that they did not disclose, the health initiative did not disclose these donors on an annual basis, even though they said they would do that, is not a problem for the State Department.
Well, again, I said what I said is they are.
It's easy. I think it's. Mm-hmm. Is it a problem for the State Department or not that they didn't live up to their pledge?
So we aren't aware of any evidence of undue influence. So we're not aware of a problem in that regard.
So the fact that they signed off on this MOU to publish the donors annually, even if that wasn't required that they be vetted, just publish them, the fact that they promised to do that and then didn't is not an issue for the building. Is that
I think I've said all I'm going to say
all right?
about
One
this
more.
Matt.